Work. Let's talk about it now. Rabin-Havt, host of The Agenda and former aide to Senate Majority Leader Reid, joins us by Skype. And from our Washington bureau, John Gizzi, the White House correspondent for Newsmax. John Gizzi, will the Democrats be successful in saying the devil is spelled GOP?
No, not at all. And I think so much of that is going to be dispelled by the positive, upbeat style Republicans who emerge triumphant tomorrow evening. Someone like Joni Ernst from Iowa barely mentions her Democratic opponent, but talks about what she will do in a very pleasant way. Scott Brown in New Hampshire, a veteran, has put national security in the forefront of the campaign and talks about a very positive agenda to deal with ISIS as well as Russia and its persecution of Ukraine. I could name so many more, but I think the candidates will trump the negativism that the opposition is trying to spread about the Republican Party.
Rabin-Havt, your old boss, Reid, is saying it's basically going to come down to Iowa, that Iowa will be the bellwether, and Iowa is looking pretty good for the Republicans and Ms. Ernst. What's your take on all of this?
Look, I think Joni Ernst has run a really good campaign, frankly, and Bruce Braley has run a terrible campaign in a lot of ways, starting with his comments about the quality of farmers serving on the Senate Judiciary Committee. Look, I think other than Iowa, where I think there is a likelihood of a Republican pickup, Republicans are winning in states won by Mitt Romney. They're winning seats that they should win anyway. And that's why there's no real mandate here. It's Republicans winning where Republicans should win in red states. Louisiana, Arkansas, those states aren't Democratic states. Those are Republican states.
All right. Well, it's interesting. A new NBC News
and
Wall
don't forget
Street.
Colorado.
Yeah, well, Colorado is in the mix too. It's been a tough time. And what about the race for both Senators Udall in Colorado and for Tom Udall in New Mexico?
Well, New Mexico, I don't think anybody thinks Udall will win in New Mexico. Look, Colorado's closer than it should be, but I do think Mark Udall will pull it out in Colorado ultimately.
I was about to mention a new NBC News Wall Street Journal poll that says domestic issues like the economy are really uppermost in voters' minds as opposed to Ebola or ISIS, and that voters trust the GOP to fix it. John Gizzi, 30 seconds to you. Does this basically become a bread and butter election?
I think so. It's an alternative election, very much like those of 1938 and those of 1994. And the common denominator would be the slogan, they've had their turn, now it's ours. And that's what Republicans are talking about. Taking the bills passed in the House that Ari's former boss would not even let a vote on, and now at least sending them to President Obama for his vetoes and explanations why. I look forward to the president vetoing the Upton Act, saying if an American likes his health care plan, he or she can keep it. In other words, vetoing his own words and saying why.
Well, let's let Ari put it into his own words. Ari, make the case for the Democratic Party. You've got the final 45 seconds to do so.
The entire Democratic Party in this election? Look, I think the case is, frankly, you have 10 million private sector jobs created. You've had obstruction from the beginning from the House of Representatives and from Republicans in the Senate. You had Mitch McConnell, and this is not, I'm not saying anything that's unknown or uncontroversial, say he would rather the country fail so Republicans can do well in a private meeting covered by Michael Grunwald of Time magazine, and that's not somebody you want governing.
All right, Rabin-Havt and John Gizzi, we appreciate your points of view on this midterm election eve. We thank you both for your time. Look forward to visiting with you again real soon. Let me ask you at home, what's your take on the upcoming elections? Why don't you tweet me your thoughts and your predictions at Newsmax TV, #America's4.